Hello, and welcome to another episode. Kind of doing a little bit of reflecting today before we start these swords over again. I know that a lot of you probably don't follow me on Facebook or social media, but I've been posting over there versus over here. However, anyway, this was going to be a Ulfberht inspired sword. I was going to do Attilius me Fesset in the inlay. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I ground the fullers in first, as you can see from previous videos of this project, and then I started doing the engraving for the lettering. And when I went to forge weld it, it ended up burning through the steel, which you can kind of, maybe you really can't see, but you can kind of see the holes that ended up coming through the metal. So I went to the books and did some research. And a lot of people say to do the engraving before you do the fullers. So that's what we get to do today, is we get to start all over. I didn't document my process previous to this. I didn't document how I forge out the sword very well. So I'm going to be starting from square one. We're actually going to be building two swords at the same time and restarting this. So here we go. Okay, so this is for ease and just making it efficiently to get the tip forged in. I cut the bar in half. It's roughly 24 inches long. That's plenty of material to get to the length that we need. And it'll maintain that 1/4 inch thickness that we've got originally. I personally, there's two ways that you can forge in the tip. For this one, I put a 45-degree angle, and I'm actually going to cut it off. And then I'm going to forge it to center. It's just a super quick, efficient way to do this, especially where a couple of these projects are somewhat on a time crunch, and I want to get them back to forged out as quickly as possible. Yes, you can forge in the tips, which I will do in a different video, but for this one, before you guys all come at me and tell me that I'm a worthless blacksmith, yes, I'm going to cut these off at a 45-degree angle and then forge the tip back down. So yeah. All right, now you can see we've got these cut, ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and fire up the forge here shortly, and then we'll start forging this tip to center, and then we'll start working the distal taper and the silhouette into the blade. And then once we get that all forged in, we'll start forge the tang and get it all ready to go. And then that'll probably be about where we get for this video for the day. So yeah, it's an unfortunate thing when you fail a sword, but that's just part of blacksmithing. That's part of learning. Is the failures that happen kind of make us better smiths. So without further ado, let's get to the cool stuff. I know that the grinding and the cutting is not exactly what you guys came here to see. So as you can see, we've got these in the forge now. They're coming up to temperature. I've also got a bolt in there as well that I'm going to make for another tool for a future project. But we're not going to be working on that today. I just wanted in there to get it nice and hot and let it soak and get that steel to relax. So anyway, going to take a few minutes and we'll get this show on the road. So it's not perfect by any means, um, but it gets us close and it gets us an idea of what we want to do. And then from here we can come back to the Tang and start working our way this way. Usually doesn't take much to get the Tang into it. I'll probably start about an inch, inch and a half, maybe two at the back here, and then start working it, squishing it and working it this while maintaining the thickness of the entire sword. There's a lot of studies that state that the distal taper actually starts in the Tang and works its way forward. I like to do the tip first and then get the Tang in, because then it gives you something nice to hold on to as you're forging in the silhouette or the outside edge of the blade as it thins out, as well as the distal taper. So, but yeah, there's one tip right there. There's the other one. Again, not exactly perfect, but we're not going for perfect right now. We're just trying to get a good grasp on what's going on, how the metal wants to move. Start correcting a few little minor tweaks here and there. And this is just to get the tip in. It's not supposed to be perfect yet. In fact, this isn't even what Viking 6 or Viking Type 6 is going to look like. It's actually going to be rounded up here by the time we're done. A lot of that will be file and grinding work, but yeah, so I'll throw these back in the forge and get them, these tanks getting ready to be set in. All right, so like I said, we're going to go about we'll go full length of my plat in their back, and then start working it, trying our best to draw the mass down while keeping the shoulders as square as we can get them. But as you work the material, it's going to naturally drag that shoulder down some. And I like to keep it as hot as I can. Working it back and forth, keeping it nice and flat as we go. This particular sword has its tang is roughly its handle is roughly 3.5 inches long. Um, Obviously, we're about 4, but I'd like to get it to be between 5 and 6, just so I have a little bit of extra breathing room for the cross guard and then the pommel on the bottom. So we're getting close. This one, like I said before, is going to be the same thing, and we're getting close there too. So, all right. So as you can see, we have two fully forged in tangs. Oh, let me grab that. Both are. We move up to where it's square, just over 5 inches. Now, what we'll do is we'll start working in the distal taper, which is the outside edge of the sword that gives it that sword look, and it's going to stay thick back here and work our way this way. This way, and then this way as well. Hopefully my arm's not too in the way. Unfortunately, my forge isn't quite long enough to heat the whole blade, so we have to do it in small segments. Once again, we're not really going for perfect. The closer we can get it, yes, that's ideal. But if it's not perfect, it's okay, because everything else will come out in the grind. Maybe this side will be better for the camera angle. So not only is this going to bring in the silhouette of the blade, it's also going to draw the length out, which we need to be about 30 inches, 30 and a half inches. Overall length of the blade from end to end is 35. Got a little bit of a banana effect going there. All right, so that's all we have time for today. We'll continue this series tomorrow or next week sometime probably, and we will actually begin to forge out the length. Instead of forging the outside edges here, we're going to be forging the inside, the overall thickness of the blade, and forging that distal taper again. I did a video on that already, but I want to do this series start to finish. Yeah, as you can see, nothing is perfect. My forging is actually subpar in my opinion, but by the time they're done, they're going to look great. You're not trying to get it perfect when it's forging. You want to try to keep everything thick and as much material as you can. Obviously, the less grinding you have to do, the better. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how these are looking right now. Obviously, we need to kind of center up everything a little bit more, but real life first over this stuff. So that's all I have time for right now. Um, but I've got it back. I've got the tangs back into the forge to kind of help normalize them a little bit. The slow cooling of the forge in and the metal material in there right now will help normalize that steel some and bring that grain structure back to a more refined look. But thank you guys for watching, and as always, it always helps if you like and subscribe.